Cool. All right. So I'm just gonna go through the questions real quick. All right,
Okay.
and then we're gonna get into it. Okay.
Okay.
So the first question is, so it's a teacher. So the name of the podcast is called Teach Simple, and you
Okay.
won't have a hard time with this. Just keep it real. When you talk, try to be as concrete, concise. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say I don't care if you're long winded. We can have a conversation. There's no big deal about it. But I
I'm
just
going
want
off
people
the
to be able
your
to,
lead.
yeah, I just want people to be able to like just effortlessly understand you. If that makes any sense.
Okay. Be clear.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
So it's a teacher podcast as well because I'm a teacher, but
All right.
I'm also an educator, and you don't have to be you don't have to be a teacher to educate. If that makes any sense.
Okay. No, you're absolutely right.
So I believe an educator is someone that teaches people how to be less ignorant, right? So
Hmm.
they can navigate the world. I took that from Jane Elliott.
Okay.
She's a professor. She's also a teacher. But I want you to I want you to give a teacher tip. All right. I want you to come from like an educator mind frame and just based off of you've been in school before, right? You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
live this world. If you were to be in front of a teacher, what advice would you give? So that's what that is.
Okay.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Okay.
And in one sentence, how would you define Ramel?
Okay. Like I said, I'm going off of your lead. So whatever you ask me, that's what we're going with it. And then, the
Uh,
feedback from you through the answering of the questions would always like help if you want me to elaborate without saying elaborate, you could like, okay, so what, go into it, get a little detail.
got it. Perfect. I want to ask you, how can life easily change? So, can you hear me? Okay.
Okay,
So,
I
for
got a phone
example,
call, sorry.
you good, bro? No, you good, man. I just want to make sure you was there.
Yeah.
So for example, I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana,
Hmm.
and I had to move because of Hurricane Katrina. And it was literally like a split of a second. Like on Friday, I got this girl's number. I'm in my first week of high school. I'm
Hmm.
like, yo, freshman year is about to be it. It's about to be it, man. Like
Right.
middle school, it didn't work out for me, but I got a little bit taller. I got a little bit of swag. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? This is gonna work out. Then Hurricane Katrina happened. I never went to that school ever. You know,
Okay.
I had 1 week of high school. It changed. I literally was in Virginia 2 months ago, and went to Virginia. I stayed in Virginia my whole rest of my life. So
Okay.
I want you to talk about just like how life can just change. You know,
Okay.
I want you to talk about circumstances, right? I don't know if you remember the interview from Meek Mill. He was on CNN, and
Okay.
pretty much he was kind of talk. I don't know if you know how he got his gun charge, but he was pretty much asking, pretty much like, "Do you really think I did that?" Because he got pretty much false accused for what he did, and
Right.
he's been on probation for 20 years. And he pretty much was trying to be like empathetic. He was like, listen, if you grow up where I come from, and I'm not saying this is your story, I'm just saying that the
Hmm.
concept of feeling like you need to always protect yourself and how that can unfortunately put you in a bind because we live in an unjust society. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you cross DC, marijuana is legal, but 2 months ago in Virginia, you got caught with it, you're going to go to jail. You know what I'm saying?
That's a
So
fact.
I want you to talk about that. I want you to talk about the beauty of what you went through. J. Cole says there's beauty in the struggle. I believe there's beauty in the struggle. If you know what I mean. And I'm not
There's
trying to say.
lessons. There's lessons you could take a positive out of a negative
And then I
in
want
any
you to kill
situation.
and then kill the stereotype as well. Like I want you to talk about like the real people that are literally just there, and they're just trying
Okay.
to get through it. And then I want you to
Okay.
talk about you come up, everything you've been going through. Then we can talk about like when they see us in like little spots. Because when we
Yeah.
reference, when I'm talking about the prison industrial complex, I'm going to bring up when they see us, and we can
Okay.
elaborate off that.
Yeah. Like I said, follow your lead. Whatever you ask me, I'm gonna get into it. I'm not really gonna volunteer any like crazy information unless you ask me, or if you ask me something, I'll explain. If you want me to explain further, just like well, this part, explain this. How did you feel? Whatever you want to do.
And last question, Mel Shuttles, correct? I said that correctly?
It's Mel Shuttle.
Mel
Mel
Shuttle.
MEL apostrophe S Shuttle LLC. And the clothing line is this, if you want to put that up there too.
Okay, give me the name.
DOFEN. Well, you could just put Dolphin Dope.
Dolphin Dope?
Yeah, but this is like how I'm going to be spelling it on my actual merch.
Yeah,
it's in
man.
Creole.
Looks dope, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right.
And the clothing line is this, if you want to put that up there too.
All right, bet. Okay, give me the name.
Dolphin Dope.
No, that wasn't me. That was the recording.
Oh, okay. I'm tripping. I'm like, I don't see you talking.
Dolphin Dope.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure I pronounce it correctly.
In the English text, Dolphin Dope, it is Dolphin Dog.
Okay, bet. So I'm gonna have you explain that too. All right, bet.
Okay. It's not out yet though. Just the FYI, it's not available yet. I'm waiting for some things to come, like the merch to get in the mail, and then I'll be up for sale. Everything.
Bet. All right, I'm gonna go ahead because we are live right now.
Okay.
And if you want to share the link, so I can teach you how to use the chat. So if you scroll down, it's gonna be a little chat. Just click that, and then I just gave you the link to the live. So if you want to give that to somebody so they can watch it, and
okay.
Yeah, but you don't have to.
Okay, I'm not. I don't got nobody there. I'll take it off for you later.
Just did it. All right. All right. Welcome to the T Simple Podcast. We focus on providing simple solutions in the classroom. I got my brother Rahmel Harris. And if you don't know, man, the last name Harris is very, very important to me. My quote unquote mentor last name is Harris. He's the reason why I am who I am. So I definitely put respect on your last name. My brother Rahmel Harris, he is an entrepreneur. He is a brother man from NYC. Which part of NYC?
I'm in Long Island. I'm from Long Island.
Long Island.
Yep.
Where are you from?
Yes. I'm originally from Brooklyn, born, but I moved to Long Island when I was like around 10, 11. So I've been here ever since.
Absolutely. So the brother man knows how to work hard, man, because New York City is a whole nother grind, man. I'm gonna leave that to you. So you already know the brother man is definitely in it. He is an entrepreneur. He has businesses such as Mel Shuttles, which provides services for people who are currently incarcerated. He has an upcoming, he has an upcoming clothing line called Dolphin Dope. You can see the beautiful handwriting on his chest there.
Thank you.
Really, really dope, really aesthetic. It looks like some stuff that's international. And I don't know if that means anything, but I just get a lot of Kanye vibes.
That's the plan. Go international.
Yeah, man. Welcome to T Simple Podcast. How you doing?
Chilling, man. I'm chilling. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I am super blessed, man, because I really apologize for some of the miscommunication. But one thing I can say that I'm really good at picking guests, man. I really think this is going to be a really great episode. Because it just vibes, man. And one thing I love about just vibing with people, boy or girl, it's all about love, man. It's all about realness. It's all about being solution. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Clubhouse,
definitely.
Right? There's a lot of talking.
Definitely.
It's a lot of chit chat. But how many people are putting those solutions, putting that information into solution-oriented executions, right, or interventions? Once you make that network, what are you actually networking after? Or are you still on Clubhouse? What would you say is the benefit of Clubhouse?
For me?
Yeah.
For me, I mean, that's how I met you, which is a blessing.
Right.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Clubhouse. Clubhouse to me is really for current entrepreneurs and people that are actually trying to get into entrepreneurship or just business owners in general, small business, big business. And if you want to, get your brand out there, if you want to talk to people that you normally wouldn't really run into the street, especially now with COVID, it's hardly and it's impossible to see anybody of substance unless you're in the mix already. So Clubhouse is like kind of like throws you into that melting pot, and you ain't got no choice
Yeah.
but to talk. Because they
Like,
want
who
you to
would've
come.
thought?
They want you to come to the stage. As soon as you come into the room, they trying to bring you up so you can talk. So it kind of forces you to be right there, the spotlight.
I love it. I love that, man. I love giving
Mhm.
pitches. I love talking about myself. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
I
love
was a little nervous at first, but I forced myself. I wrote my pitch like 5, 6 times on my phone, and then once I got in there, I just came up with the regular pitch, and I just started talking. Even now, I'm nervous now, but I'm trying my best not to show it because I'm not used to talking in front of people. I'm used to just doing the business. So once I get into the groove of the business, there's no reason to be nervous. But when you have an audience that's just watching, like how they're watching us right now, it could be a little overwhelming. But it is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
It is what
And
it
public
is.
speaking, you have to have a strong sense of self-awareness. You just don't have to. Sometimes you just can't care.
Right.
You know,
That's another thing, right? You got to stop caring about what people think and just do your thing because either they're going to gravitate or they're not. That's it.
where did you learn that from growing up? So you from NYC, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Who taught you integrity? Was it a teacher? Was it a mentor? And what's one tip that mentor taught you that you would give to another teacher, right? Because teachers, listen, bro. Believe it or
Hmm.
not, if you are a bad teacher, listen, man, I'm gonna give you some data. If you are a bad teacher, you do worse to kids as if a substitute that's not doing anything.
Right. That's true.
Ain't that crazy? Like if you're bad, you can bring kids down compared to not
Hmm.
because substitute's not even there. You know what I'm saying? So
Listen,
pretty much so go ahead.
I was my daughter was on school on the remote learning on the laptop like I think last week sometime. And the teacher, I'm watching TV, I overhear the teacher talking about how good some artists in the industry look and actors. And I found that like inappropriate. I didn't really say anything to the teacher. I should have, but it kind of made me upset like immediately. So I just kind of let it linger and wrote an email to her later on. But to me, that's a bad teacher. Like, first of all, 13-year-olds are very impressionable. They look up to people, especially the teacher, no matter what, because you know how kids are these days. If you tell them, oh, do the equation this way, they're going to tell you, oh, the teacher said. So they take what the teacher say as concrete before they kind of listen to the parent because they're dealing with the teacher for like 8 hours of the day anyway. So I thought that was inappropriate. And then, she's just saying a lot of things that had nothing to do with anything, dating. And this is Spanish class. Why are you talking about dating? How good this guy looks, and you don't like this female actress? It was definitely inappropriate. So that I get the bad teacher thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I kind of what is that like not being authentic, right? And you're just because
I,
sometimes us teachers we try
yeah,
to be
you're a mentor, so you kind of like making them think the wrong way by talking about something that has nothing to do with the curriculum.
mm,
It has nothing to
wasting
do with
time.
anything, wasting time, right? And then you should pass everybody if that's what you're gonna do. Because what do you want a 13-year-old to have a conversation with you about how good a grown man looks? Like it makes no sense.
Man. Let's talk about again, where you from, man. So
Okay.
growing up, what was your aspirations? What was something that you wanted to do? For me, it was basketball, girls, and then it was pleasing my mother so I can show that I was better than my dad and my
Hmm.
brother.
Hmm.
What about you?
Um, I played basketball, uh,
Okay.
seventh, eighth, ninth grade, summer camp a little bit, and then I got caught up in hanging out with the dudes and everything, cutting class. It didn't really affect my schoolwork, but Uh, the thing was, my mom didn't really show interest in me being an athlete, so it kind of made me not want to play. It kind of made me not want to actually engage in basketball. I mean, I remember one time I sat in the bleachers during pep rally and they called my name, and it kind of hurt me to like sit there and not walk with the team, but I just had no interest because I felt like, nobody cared. So, basketball, cars, of course, girls, video games, clothes, sneakers, yeah, cars more than anything though. I want to say cars, yeah, because I've always had an interest for cars. Going to the car show, I went to Apex for a little bit. Try to do the auto mechanic thing. I went to auto mechanic classes in 11th and 12th grade. So I would say cars. Cars more than anything. Basketball first was, I think basketball is every like little boy's first love. I used to collect cards. So yeah, cards and basketball.
Did you have was your dad in your life?
No. I had a stepfather for a good amount of time. But my biological father, no, he wasn't around.
That's interesting when you were talking about like not caring, and
Mm-hmm.
when our parents don't care, it makes us not care. And a big mistake I think teachers make is that we don't care enough to understand those dynamics. Did you have teachers that were like that? Were you in class? You said you were skipping class. So like, was it because
Right.
this is pointless?
No. Skipping class was more so of you just want to be cool. I was passing my classes more so. It just I would cut like gym, government. It's an easy 100 for me in high school.
Mm.
Economics, that was easy. So like little classes, I wasn't really cutting the important classes like math or science because you need those to graduate. But the BS classes, I was out of there. I was out of there. I wasn't in the class at all. Just hanging out with the fellas. You a young teenager, you want to chill with your friends, and sometimes I didn't have the time after school, so cutting class was beneficial to my leisure. So it was like I need to cut class now to get that time in because I know after school, I got to get home. I got to do what my mom had set out for us to do.
And then what happened pretty much? So I'm assuming that you have a good group of brothers.
Yes, I'm the oldest of six,
Okay.
so um, my job was to basically come home from school, get my little brothers from daycare or elementary school, take them home or take them back to school to do whatever it is that I needed to do, which kind of tied into me not wanting to play basketball because my mom had these things for me to do, and it's like I didn't have really the time to do what I wanted to do.
Damn, bro. I'm thinking about Kendrick Lamar, man, and how he just talks about how he's like 87, but he's like 26 because
Hmm.
he was forced to grow up so fast. He
Right.
experienced death. He experienced trauma, you know? I feel like
Hmm.
getting that same type of thing where you are literally still a kid, but
Hmm.
you are forced to, kind of like have what disappointment from
Responsibilities.
not responsibilities that you probably shouldn't have. Research shows that working harder as an adolescent does not increase your cognitive ability. It just stresses you out more.
Yeah. That's
uh,
how I felt a little bit. Yeah, I didn't mean it was more so like I didn't really want to come down on my mom too crazy because she was a single parent for the most part. Even though I had a stepfather, she was a single
mhm.
parent. So me being disobedient to her instructions would not be conducive to the ultimate goal, which is for us to like prosper as a family. So if she relied on me, she relied on me. So that's just what it was. You can't tell your mom no. Not where I'm from. You can't say no or you don't want to. So that's just what it is.
So what? So after high school, right? You
Hmm.
know, what were your ambitions, and what was the mindset? You sound like a straight up businessman in high school, right?
Now,
You know,
now,
like the mindset. So like, was it a business that you created right out of high school? What was the
um,
gig? How was you making some bread?
well, actually, I started my first job when I was in like 10th grade, ninth grade. My bro that I went to elementary school with, we was in high school together too. He was working at a convenience store, like in the neighborhood, and he was like, "Yo, you want a job? Come over here." So I started working with the deli, washing dishes in the back, mopping and sweeping, and then I want to say like 10th grade, I got a job working at Nathan's.
Okay.
So I was working at Nathan's for a little bit. That was like my regular little gig, because as an adolescent, you can't really, as a minor, you can't really work too many hours with school. You got your working papers, so you can't make over a certain amount. So I was coming home with like maybe $50 a week,
Mm.
$75 a week. And then after high school, I really didn't have no plan. I didn't have no plan. I just wanted to get out of high school because at some point, I kind of hated it for whatever reason. Um, but yeah, I didn't have a plan, but I did go straight to Berkeley College out of high school. Um, I did sign up for the Navy prior to that, but I didn't go because 9/11 happened. I graduated 2001. 9/11 happened. I was supposed to go to the Navy right after that, and I had my mom sign a waiver for me not to go. So Berkeley was
Uh,
like the next thing. And my mom was very adamant about going to college, period. Do something. So it was like, okay, I'll go to Berkeley or whatever. That was in Manhattan. So yeah.
how was how was college compared to grade school? I know you enjoyed the freedom. I know you enjoyed the boss. You can do whatever you want, kind of, sort
Hmm.
of, not really.
Well, see, the only thing I regret about the college experience is not dorming. So I went to Berkeley College, which is in Manhattan, and then I went home every day. So I kind of wish I would have actually went to the actual campus, which they have in Westchester, and I got that experience. But being that I'm from Long Island, I used to go hang out at the local universities with people that were actually there, and I got to see and hang out and get a little bit of the feel, not really the curriculum aspect, but just the dorm life. I got to chill for a couple of nights and see what it was about, but that's really it.
And so after college, where you at now?
Um, Now I got my mail shuttle uh, transportation service. Due to COVID, it's a little bit on the outskirts because of they shut the business down for now. And then I got the clover line, which I'm building up right now, putting it together, and it'll be up and running real soon.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. I'm definitely proud of that. So you said that you were very, very, very pushed up when you had a lot of responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Um, how can that be detrimental to adolescent? Feeling like you have to do more than you should or take on more responsibilities. And what kind of things, I guess, like you were, because I mean, listen, man, I'm the man of my house, so I got to make sure I protect mine, no matter
Right.
what,
Hmm.
and even like we were talking about Kendrick Lamar, he said, truth be told, I'm like 87, but he's probably like 13, 15. You know,
Right. Right. Right.
how is that detrimental, right? Because you can't. There has to be some. How can I say? Just two things don't mix together.
Hmm.
They
Right.
don't go together. So talk a little bit about that and elaborate on it a little bit.
Um, I want to say you said earlier it sounds a little stressful. I mean, it was because you're in school and you're thinking about exactly what you have to do after school, which is go get your little brothers, make sure they good, take them home. But what I used to do a lot of the times, I used to go get them from daycare or elementary school, and I used to bring them back and hang out with my friends anyway. We wasn't like, smoking weed or nothing around them, but I would bring them to chill on the bleachers, watch my other brother football practice, go walk around the school. Everybody did that where I'm from. So it's a little stressful, but like I said, you have to make the best of it. At the time and in the moment, you're not really thinking is setting you back. But when you think about it, in essence, it kind of did because I had a lot of restrictions due to those responsibilities.
And what type of mistakes did you make because of those restrictions, right? Because one thing I always tell my kids, right? I always tell them like, don't put yourself in a situation where you can't get yourself out of, and you have
Hmm.
to, continue to, it just you just keep going back. Um,
Right.
so for example, so my brother got everything I got, man, literally, but he didn't have his dad in his life, and he
Right.
was very, very angry all the time. My brother dropped out of high
Mm.
school. Um, he just was doing a lot of I call it hot boy stuff. Like he just was doing a lot of stuff to indirectly get attention. And he made
Okay.
a lot of mistakes. He was incarcerated. He got shot like 3 times. My brother got
Mm.
10 kids, dog.
Okay, that's a
know,
lot. Two was a lot to me.
you know, and I kind of feel like my brother's still, even though he felt like he had to grow up so fast, him being incarcerated, he sounds younger than me because he still
Yeah.
hasn't been able to experience, I guess, the fruits of his labor because his life has been
Hmm.
on pause. What can
Okay.
you add to that?
Um, as far as not being able to do what I wanted to do at that age, I mean, I want to say that I became real, how you say it, when basically go rogue. Like my mom would say, be home at this time, especially after high school. It was more so like, I do what I want. You know what I'm saying? I come home, she could be yelling, my mom, I didn't care. I'd be, smoking weed with my friends, come home. I don't care about what you say. I'm not calling you. I'm not doing none of those things because I had no freedom in high school. So once I get out of high school, it's like, okay, I'm going to school, I'm doing what you want me to do. Now I'm gonna do exactly what I want to do because my little brothers ain't little no more. If you have another kid, I'm not watching them. I was just real like do what I want. Like, I didn't care. And that basically ultimately led to me being kicked out and had to do what I had to do for myself.
Bro, don't you just sometimes your parents just always they're always in the back of your head like, damn,
Hmm.
dang, damn, that's what they meant. Damn.
Yeah.
And it usually takes a life experience for us to learn that and be like, damn,
Hmm.
that's what he was talking about.
But her kicking me out, it made me a better man. I mean, I hated it.
That's
I don't think it was the best decision for her to kick me out, but I needed that. I'm a man, and a man's supposed to, make sure he's good. So I had to secure a job and a place to live, and she actually came through and bought me a whole bunch of furniture. Came and checked on me, and it was for the betterment of me and her too, because I guess it was like you can't have two heads of the household, so there can only be one. So we needed to separate because I was at that age where it was like, going to the wild, go see what life is about. It just happened the wrong way.
We're gonna talk about that, man. I felt like if my dad was in my life, man, a lot of shit that I went through, I probably wouldn't have to go through as much. I just feel like that. That's just me. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Like
it's true.
learn how to be confident, learn how to have swag, you know, learn how to just have self-esteem in your own skin, you know? And unfortunately, as Black men, we have to not only fight against the world, we have to fight with our inner demons and our voids that we've been missing and that we've been trying to fill.
Right.
You know, like my brother, I keep talking to my brother, man. My brother, man, I would literally go down to New Orleans to help him out just because of his circumstance, you know. And I'm telling you, just like of that trauma and just his decision making, you know, and how much he's missed because his life's been on pause. All I gotta do is give my phone to my mom. Excuse me. All I gotta do is give my phone to him, right? And he's talking to my mom, and he's just bawling, you know, because just so much stuff, you know. So let's talk about like what happens when your life gets put on pause, right? Or when something drastic happens, you know, you got to just adapt and get through it until the light is at the end of the tunnel. For me, you know, it was me being on probation. You know, I got caught, you know, with some marijuana, you know, when I was in college. And I was not say I had the same mindset you had, but my mom was arguing with me when I was at that age, when I was just doing whatever I wanted, right? And I brought up the dad thing because I think about like the lessons my coach taught me when I was playing basketball. Make good decisions, right? But when I was in college, he wasn't my dad, so he was gone, right? So those thoughts were there, but they were somewhere else because I was making my own mind. I didn't have that person like, yo, sharpen up, Calvin. Yo, you know, get your shit together, Calvin. You know what I mean? And I slipped up. And sometimes when you slip up in America, that slip up is a slope, you know?
Yes, it is. This is true.
And my life changed drastically. It wasn't even to the degree of what some people put out, but being in the system is is literally your life on pause. You know, Ava DuVernay, 13. That whole documentary is about the 13th Amendment and how if you get put in the system, literally you become a slave again.
We do.
You know, so could you maybe add your perspective to that concept of, you know, your life being on pause and just elaborate and talk about that, man?
All right. I was on probation too. I'm not gonna go into that, but I did a little probation in Long Island.
Worse.
Yeah, it was bad, but not as bad, you know. As a felony, when you get a felony, you gotta do time. It could really like put things to a halt. I don't want to say. I want to. Okay, you know, I'm gonna say, yeah, I was on a downward spiral at this time, meaning, had a little things going on in the street. Nothing major, but enough to make you feel like, you know, your life might be in danger. I was in between jobs. I moved. My living situation changed. I'm renting a room over here. So, you know, you're already stressed out. So even the little things will piss you off. Yeah. So
goddamn bacon.
yeah. So long story short, I had a dude. It was a situation where these dudes basically jumped me, and the dude went back and said that I chased him with a gun, which I didn't, and then it just turned into a gun situation. So I'm always holding every time I go around, you know, and I got caught up like that, and it's my first offense. New York is strict on gun laws, so you know, there was no bail due to the fact that I live in Long Island. Well, I have a Long Island address on my ID. And then I got caught in Queens, which is the boroughs, 5 boroughs. Okay. So Nassau County and Queens County are separate. So once they see the Nassau County tag on your ID, automatically your bail goes up because they feel like, you know, you might go to Long Island and disappear on them. You know, that's just what NYPD don't have no jurisdiction in that. So my bail was 75,000. I ain't have that. So I sat. You know what I mean? For that whole time. I mean, I copped out pretty quick just because Rikers Island is disgusting. So, and it was nothing to fight. You know, it was either you take this 2 years or you go to trial and you facing 3.5 to 7. There's no argument. Give me the 2 years. I didn't have no co-defendant. I got caught with a handgun on my person. So that's it. You know, I went upstate. It was 2010. May 2010, I got arrested. I went upstate August 2010. And that was like hard for me because, you know, I had a daughter at the time.
Oh
I was
no, I
in,
didn't
yeah, I was in her life every day.
know that.
So, you know, it was hard, you know, when you dealing with your daughter and you know, your girlfriend every day, and then it just stops and you're around a whole bunch of dudes. And this is my first time being in jail, period. And mind you, I'm 25, 26. So I'm looking at it like, damn, I get on the phone to talk to my daughter and I can't even talk. I'm just tearing up, like listening to her over the phone. She 3. So like we spoke, you know, I was just saying, you know, they could have did something different. You know, they should come up with some programs for first time offenders with guns because that really put my life at a hold. You know, I had interviews coming up. I passed a couple exams for the for city jobs, and it kind of
Talk
like
about that.
um I took the court officer test. I took the Nassau County Corrections test. Um,
Man.
I was in between bank jobs, so I was working at Capital One prior to the arrest, and then I was going for assistant manager, branch manager position at Wells Fargo, and I was on my second or third interview with Wells Fargo. So basically, I was in the process of being hired, if you say, because I knew I was going to get the job, um, and that was just over for that. You know, once you get a felony, the financial institutions don't want to hire you. You can't be a cop, even though nobody got hurt in the commission of my crime. I was just walking with a gun. I ain't shoot at nobody. You know, I ain't shoot nobody. I ain't, you know, none of those things. So the 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 way New York is set up is crazy. You know, all these other states, you know, they got this open carry situation. You know, you can carry no matter what. In New York, I tell you right now, don't come here with no guns. You see what happened to Prodigy, Lil Wayne, uh, what's the other
Will
dude?
Santana,
Joel Santana. Like they going through it
Sebastian Telfair.
over possession, and none of these dudes shot a gun. They all had the same charge I had, which was possession.
You
two
heard about
years.
this? You heard about the Sebastian Telfair story?
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. I can't really elaborate on that, but a little bit. I watched the YouTube special on that, but I heard about that too. Talented dude too. Yeah.
Yeah, he got caught up as well because he was
Yep.
moving.
Yep. Yep. And you know, they don't care. They don't even care, bro. It's so bad. Like Rikers Island, you know, gang members as COs and the I never was abused, but there's dudes that was getting abused. But a lot of these dudes, they, you know, with the exception of, you know, I want to say dudes like Khalif Browder, because there's
Yeah,
dudes like that are incarcerated that are not a problem, but they not quiet about the problems that come their way. So if you don't give them enough blankets, they make a big thing about it. If you don't give them a phone call, they make a big thing about it. If they're being, you know, treated some type of way by certain COs, nothing is done about it. So then they get abused because they're making too much noise or they're complaining too much. And, you know, I just never experienced that, thank God. But there's dudes like that go through with that really need help. And it's not set up for that. It's really not set up for that. You gotta be strong, and and that's why I was trying my best to get off Rikers Island, because it's not a place to be. I'd rather be upstate in the penitentiary because At least in the penitentiary, is a little bit more free. You know what time you got. You convicted already. You got your date to go home. You don't gotta wake up to the rats and the roaches and the fruit flies and the female CEOs walking by. And if you look at them wrong, they want to throw you in the box. Crazy, bro. And you won't even be looking at. They doing count. What am I supposed to look at? I ain't see if not saying me, but you ain't see most dudes ain't see a female in a year. You be on Rikers Island for a year fighting the case, and you have a young CEO walk past, and he came look, and she felt offended, but she got on tight pants, and stuff like that's like what do you call it? Entrapment. A lot of those things is like entrapment. It's like setting you up to fail.
Right.
You're talking to me, and so I shouldn't look at you. I should look at the floor. Like I don't, this is bad, bro. But yeah, it'll put your life on hold, man. Little things like that. Little things like that.
I appreciate you opening up. Thank you. I really
yeah.
And one theme I got from that, which sucks. Another Kendrick Lamar lyric. He said, I used to want to see the penitentiary right after elementary. Thought it was cool to look the judge in his face when he sentenced me. Since my uncle was institutionalized, my intuition had said I was suited for family ties. So shit, bro, like beyond, like, listen, man.
Let me tell you something real quick though.
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead.
When I got sentenced, and, I'm not making it seem like I'm the baddest dude, because I'm really not. I'm just a statistic when you break it down, of the system of New York City, of the judicial system. They was ask you why was you carrying a loaded handgun? I was like, to protect myself. What did you think you was gonna hear? These dudes like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. What do you want me to say? I was protecting myself. If somebody shoots me, I'm shot already. What is the police gonna do for you? They can't do nothing. Then if you tell, that's a whole nother thing. Now when you go to jail, you got to worry about people sending letters to that jail to people in there. You got to worry about coming home and watching your back. Well, what? Just give me the time. I'll protect myself. I hope I make it. Type situation, because most people aren't going to tell. I'm not one of those dudes. I'd rather handle it on my own. So the best thing you can do, this is just a message to people watching or anybody that's going through it. Eliminate yourself from the situation. Change your location, change the way you move in, get a job. Street life ain't for you if if it's going to end up putting you in jail, because that's where it's going to go, or 6 feet. Because when you're about your respect and your honor, you willing to die for it. I wasn't really one of those dudes that was gonna just let somebody shoot me. So
I mean, and that could be debated, right? But rightfully so, right?
It could be debated.
Well, that's what they're going to debate it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
that's what
right.
they're going to debate it. I can be empathetic towards that. But
Right.
that's the problem. It's empathy, right? We don't understand where you're coming from because we've never been in your shoes, right? And that's where that entrapment shit comes from, right? Because you talked about being entrapped in jail, but in some circumstances, I like to rap, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
No, go ahead. Do your thing.
J. Cole, he said, meanwhile, I see my brothers, he said, my brothers are dominant nickeling. He said, whatever they trying to, they struggling, and you can say he's exaggerating, but there literally are people out here like in certain circumstances, and they're not going to just settle for what they're, like you said, like, I'm not going to let someone just shoot me. I'm not going to just let my situation be what it is. I'm going to change it.
Right. Because number one, the cops can't be with you 24/7, bro. You go wake up 2 a.m, you want to go to the store. You can't call the cops and say, hey, walk me to the store. Like, I'm just giving you real scenarios. If I get into it with these dudes in front of the store and they tell me which happened, there's a real situation that happened to me at one point. Yo, don't come down the block no more. What do you mean? So what store should I go to? So then you
Right.
have to make a decision. Do I
So
want to
either
walk all the way over there, or do I want to go to this store regardless? Oh, I'm going to this store regardless. My mother, my mother raised me. You do what you want, which it could be dangerous in some neighborhoods in the country, in this country. But let's thank God that these dudes was flaky, so it didn't matter.
bro, I'm gonna tell you a story, dog. So I grew up without a dad, so that means
Hmm.
that I didn't learn how to fight. You know what I mean? My mom put me in karate, but karate don't teach you how to fight. If you know what I mean, like
Oh,
karate
I
ain't gonna
thought
teach
it
you how to
did.
fight.
What do it do?
Oh, what do you know? Like what I'm saying is like. So let me take it back. Maybe it was just unfair match. Just to say it's just an
Right.
unfair match. But pretty much, bro, like in New Orleans, it's very segregated, kind of like Chicago is.
Hmm.
And you could be living in a very opulent neighborhood, and then as soon as you cross the line, you just then, we call it Trana, right? That's
You call it what?
Trana. Like it's from New
Okay.
Orleans, but it's like try nine, but they call it
Okay.
Trana.
Okay.
And I'm walking with my dude Maverick, bro. I'm getting a hot sausage sandwich, bro. This dude that I went to school with, he done got bigger. I'm thinking that we
Hmm.
cool. I'm thinking that we done. He's like, oh yeah, we gonna fight. No, I'm like, yeah, we gonna fight. I'm thinking we chilling, we cool, whatever.
Hmm.
And then I'm crossing, pop out of nowhere, and he's like, yeah, we gonna fight. And I'm like,
For
what?
what?
For what? You know, you
I
know.
want to know
But
for what.
but my mom taught me to never get suspended.
Right.
Right? So when I was
That's
going
big.
into school with a lot of my friends, I would see them get suspended every day.
Hmm.
So I always taught myself, if I get in a fight, don't do nothing. Right? But
Hmm.
on the street, that don't work like that, right?
It don't. Right.
And to make a long story less long, literally when that incident happened, that same scenario, either you're gonna choose to walk straight to the corner store or you ask gonna
Hmm.
go around. And I literally
Hmm.
had to make that decision. So imagine that on like a higher level where you don't have this, the certain circumstance, and you
Hmm.
feel like you an adult. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, I'm not going to front. Like a few times, I might have went the other way. Because number one, you're outnumbered tremendously. It's like 20 dudes in front
Being
of the store.
smart.
So it's like, and then it's like those times where it's like, you know what? I'm in the store, and then everybody's in the store while you're waiting for a sandwich like that. And then they come in the store like talking mad trash, like, yo, bro, come on. Like, if you're gonna do something, it's like you at the point where it's like you got back is against the wall. Like, if you're gonna do something, just do it. Don't I don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
How can society work with hood and street politics?
can't. I could tell you one thing that is horrible in the way they do things. I'm gonna just use Nassau County as an example, Long Island. Um, they bring these white cops. Not saying white guys are not from my neighborhood. I'm talking about white cops that never grew up how we grew up in the environment we grew up in, the way we grew up, and don't understand our culture
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
work in our neighborhood. So when you do that, there's no class for that. You know what I'm saying? There's
Mhm.
nothing you could do to like, okay, well, when you run into Rahmel or you run into a guy like you, this is how you interact with them. There's no class for that. You have to have friends like me or, been in the same class, school, or anything like me to understand someone like me.
Mm.
So you need to keep those type of people with those type of people. Hire us.
Hey, yeah,
You
man,
send
you
and
getting
then you
it.
send
I
you
love
send the
it.
black you send the black cops to the white neighborhood. It doesn't it's set up, it's entrapment. Because they come here into this neighborhood and then they expect you. I'm gonna give you an example. One day, me and my friend was talking on the block. I pulled up, he came into the window and just talking, leaning into the car. Yeah, it's a drug neighborhood, right? So what? But I'm not a known drug dealer. So why does it matter? 5 minutes later, I'm sitting on the curb in handcuffs, right? Mind you, I told my bro, I'm like, yo, bro, don't lean into the car. You know they watching the block for like suspicious activity. I shouldn't even have to do that. I shouldn't have to tell him that. He should be able to talk to me, give me a five, whatever he wanted to do, because we're free, right? This is democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not, because well, he was free, but it was my car. It smelled like weed. They want to search when in essence I shouldn't even been harassed. I shouldn't even been in handcuffs. I shouldn't have been in a conversation with the police. They should do their job, which is drive past, because when you go to their neighborhoods, what are they doing? The same exact thing. You got Bob leaning into Billy's car, talking about how many deer they shot or whatever they got going on out there, whatever's going on. Nobody's harassing them.
Oh, so y'all cars are right next to each other.
No, he was leaned in. I'm in my car.
Okay.
He's leaned into the window just talking to me. It wasn't like he did one of those quick and kept moving where it might look like a drug deal. He's literally having a conversation with me. So I didn't know that was illegal.
That happens
But
all the time.
no, I know. I'm just telling you, it's horrible because it makes you not even want to be yourself. Now it's like, okay, now I can't have a conversation. It's just like jail. Jail, you're not allowed to be in a certain amount of group of people when you're in the yard. So we're in jail outside, or is this the free world? It's horrible, bro.
But there was a light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
when you was telling me your story, you were writing letters. You were letting them know, like, yo, this ain't it, and this is a mistake, right? And that writing a letter is super important, bro, because you're always causing people to think about the current situation. And we already know this shit needs to be fixed.
Yes.
Mandatory minimums, right? Like why is that the same? Like literally, so when I was on probation, I was on the same probation as people that was doing shoplifting. It's just like these are not the same type, like, and whenever I would go to the probation office, there would always be young black males.
Yep. Absolutely.
So something's not working. So okay, you said society, it can't fix it, right? And you said a lot of great stuff, implicit biases, right?
No, they can fix it. They choose not to.
Right, they choose not to. But the same stuff that you are talking about, dog, that shit happens in the classroom.
Right.
It's about power, right?
Yep.
Stop talking so much. Be quiet. Don't say nothing for 20 minutes. I don't want to hear nobody's talk. I want to hear a pin drop. Can you literally do that for 20 minutes every day? You just sit there quiet. Because that's literally what some of these classes are like. Kids can't talk. Kids can't get up. Kids can't be themselves, right? They can't congregate. You see, listen, bro, I'm telling you the same stuff.
No,
this shit happens in the classroom.
I had a situation with my daughter, and the teacher, my little daughter, she's 8, right? So I'm gonna say this is 2 years ago. The teacher kept saying, so she was in first grade. Teacher kept saying, oh, she's talking a lot. She's talking a lot. She's talking a lot. So I'm just like, okay, she's 6. Okay, she's 6. School is still new to her. She's in first grade. What would you like for her to do? Is she hitting other classmates? Is she cursing? Is she taking people's stuff? Okay, I said, please call me when it's a real issue. Of course, I tell my daughter, don't talk so much, but they don't want these kids to do anything. They want them to be grown-ups in the first grade, and I hate it. I hate it. Let them be kids. They're in the first grade. Do a little preschool, whatever, and let them play. Let them socialize.
Sing songs.
It's a part of growth. Yeah, all that. Do that.
Do they sing songs?
I think so.
Okay. I gotta be scared.
I think so. I hope so.
bro. They ain't singing songs no more. They gotta do resumes.
Right. And everything is so serious. It's the first grade. Like you can't be mad at a 6-year-old for talking. And then it continues on all the way up until, like I said, either a job, career, or prison. It's the same thing. They don't want to hear you talking in the lunchroom. They don't want you talking in the mess hall. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
So I'm gonna give you a quote, and then I want to talk about just like the triumph, bro. You know, like being back with your family, and I know you got ambitions as a rider going on in your head. You like, I ain't going back. You Meek Mill championships. You
ain't
like,
going nowhere.
The hell, you know what I'm saying? So before I just go there, so I want you to look this up because you made me think about this dude, man.
Okay.
He talks about exactly what you're saying, like the preschool, like is way too serious because it's standardized test. His name is Sir Ken Alexander, and he talks about, he's a white guy from the UK, and he talks about pretty much how school doesn't foster creativity. Do you agree with that?
You said school doesn't
foster creativity, so it doesn't create creative people. It actually does the opposite, or it can.
I think. I mean, when you limit the curriculum, yeah. I mean, there's only a select few students that are actually gonna go outside of the box and do X, Y, and Z. They don't teach, like when you think about history, they don't even teach. They don't teach white history. They don't really teach Black history, and if they do, it's only for February. So it's like you don't even know what's really going on because white people didn't invent everything. There's a lot of things that Black African Americans, always say Black Americans or Africans invented that white people didn't invent. So, yeah.
Bro, I'm so proud of you, man, because through everything you've gone through, you are still here talking your stuff, man. I just want to thank you, brother, man, for being an example, being an exemplar dad, you know.
Well, thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate you.
Of course, like I talk about like I felt like yo, if my dad was in my, and I'm just joking, but I'm just saying like, yo, if all this stuff wasn't in our life, imagine where we would be. So just see how powerful we are inherently. You know, it's amazing to think about.
I hate to hear people complain. You know, I don't like. I had friends in high school. An example, because everything I speak of is off experience. So, I had a friend. His name was Kevin, and Kevin had a mother, a father. They had a house. I'm living in an apartment with my 5 brothers. You know, so he would complain. I would be right there with him. His father would tell him, hey, you could have the BMW, you could have the Trans Am Firebird, you could have the Jeep if you just come home with good grades. This dude would cut class every single day. I didn't understand it, bro. I was like, yo, if you go to class, we could be lit. What are you doing? Like, what you doing? He didn't graduate with us. He didn't go to prom. Like he just one of those people that just wanted to be a loser. Like people like that, I don't even rock with those people now. But back then it's like, you know, you're my friend. But there's people like that don't care, you know, versus people like us who want to succeed, who want to go to the next level, who want to be at a different plateau at the end of the year, you know? So it's about elevation.
So let's talk about that slope. So you're literally almost, you know, you about to get work release. You know, talk about like the type of ways you're changing your, not say you're changing your behavior. You know, you're probably doing what you've already been doing so you can get through what you're going through. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But just talk about just like, are you developing the plan already? You know, you wanted to go out? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. There's been a lot of Black Panthers, and a lot of them have been in prison. And a lot of them wrote a lot of amazing books. So I already know, you know, that type of concentration is a whole nother level. And I got a lot of respect for it. You know what I'm saying? But just, you know, what you know, what you cooking up in the brain, and then what happened after you got out?
Okay. Well, I'll start about month 10 of being upstate New York in the prison. I was getting my visits. And just to be a little detailed about that part, Um, I used to have my lady come once a month, just because I knew how hard it was for her being a single female, because she's a single parent right now at that time. And it's very stressful when you don't have that other half of that support system, whether it's financially, mentally, whether I got the baby while she's at work, it's all on her right now. So that was like, I was like, come once a month, don't worry about it. Cause I don't know how she felt. So it was like, don't worry about it. Cause these dudes is in jail cursing out their moms over the phone, cursing their girlfriends out, calling them B word, telling them to come every visit. I didn't like visits anyway. Me personally. Number one, you got to strip butt naked after every single visit. Number two, your lady got to ride up on that long ride. I didn't let her bring my daughter like that because it hurt to see my daughter leave, let alone see my lady leave. So, but yeah, so she was coming up on the visits, and then I was just like thinking, like, yo, I know I got out of the 2 years, you do 21 months. So either I'm gonna get work release and come home soon and be on furloughs, or I'm gonna do the whole 21 months. You don't know. So I'm just like thinking, like, what am I gonna do when I get out? And then she's like, suggested, like, maybe you could do the van service, because the guy I'm coming with, he has a lot of people in his van. And she's like, yo, the city, you could do it. And then I started putting it on paper, what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I didn't think about doing the prison transportation service. It was more so just a transportation service.
Okay.
Like taking people to amusement parks,
Okay.
venues, vineyards, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So when I came home, I did start that. I got off parole 2013. I'm skipping around, but I got off parole 2013, 2014. Bought my van the next month, my first van. I didn't jump into the prison system right away. I was doing, like I said, a couple high school friends hired me. I got a couple of little quick jobs, taking them places, whatever, $300, $400, $500 here and there. But that van insurance was a lot. So I was like, I need to find something consistent, like where I'm bringing in some bags. So then it was November 2014. My lady was like, yo, let's drive up to the prison and give out some business cards. Let's stop being scared to do it. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go. So we went up there, gave out the cards. And then January 2015, I was in business. Yeah, I was in business. But let me get back to the work release thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Work release, I was denied in July of
And what is work release, real quick? What is that?
Work release for New York. Everywhere is different, but for New York City, it's in Lincoln Correctional Facility. And at the time, I don't think it's there anymore, but Lincoln Correctional Facility. And what happens is you gotta accumulate enough points in the prison that you're in. So I was in Green Correctional Facility in Coxsackie, New York. And once you get those points, you could send it to your account, have your counsel put you in for early release committee, which is pretty much like a parole board. So you sit in front of them, whatever, talk to them, and they tell you, listen, do you think that you could do this? How do you feel about your crime? Are you, ask you all the questions they asked you in that movie. Are you guilty? And it's crazy. They bring up stuff from your past that have nothing to do with anything. So I got denied the first time because they brought up something from 2008 that was like a misdemeanor. I'm like, bro, that has nothing to do with this case. And he was like, okay, go back to your dorm. Meanwhile, the dudes that are interviewing you for the early release are ex-fiends. Like, I found this out. They're prior crackheads. Like, all of them, like, they had issues. So how you coming at me is like, oh, did you smoke weed? I'm like, where you getting this information from? He's like, it's in your file that you was arrested for marijuana. And I'm like, what does that have to do with a gun charge?
What type of conversation is that? Like, what
I'm
type
not
of
in,
conversation is that?
I'm not in jail for weed. I'm upstate for possession of a firearm. Yeah, it was crazy. But so they denied me. They denied me. That was 2011. I was denied. I want to say early 2011, maybe like February, March. So you automatically can appeal it right away. So when you get the letter, they have the appeal. You write it and you send it off. I wrote the appeal. I wrote a really good appeal letter, I want to say, because I did very well in English in high school, college. So it wasn't nothing for me to write an appeal letter.
Wow.
I got it, it's stressful waiting for the appeal letter. But July 2011, which was like 7 months later, I was accepted into the program. Worst mistake ever. I didn't like work release. It was everything you didn't want it to be. I mean, let me not say that because then that's bad. If you don't have a setup, if you don't have someone that can actually give you a job, if you don't have someone that you know that could pull you into something, it's not good for you. Because then you're going to be on job searches and they're not going to give you no furloughs. You're not going to go spend a night with your girl. They're going to want you to come back every day to the facility. And then I got to one point where I was like, yo, just send me back upstate. And then you got these black dudes that work in the facility, black females that treat you like shit. They treat you worse than they do upstate in the mountains. Horrible. And I'm in Harlem. Horrible. So it's just like, it's a gift and a curse because my girl would come. It was right by Central Park. She would come on Sundays and hang out with me. We'd walk around, get something to eat for like 2-3 hours, go to the movies or something, and then I come back because I was on church pass. I had every type of pass you could think of. Church pass. I'm at the movie theaters on 42nd Street every Sunday, watching everything. But it was a little stressful. Work release was a little stressful just because of the way they treat you more so. If they treated people better, it would be an easier transition and back into society. But that kind of made me, that on top of the whole system thing, made me like, yo, I'm never going to jail again. It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's horrible. Bad setup.
No place for anybody. And you brought up Corey Wise, and they was trying to get him to admit to something that he didn't do, and he was like, no.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Did you cry at all?
No. I was thinking about that too. I'm like, yo, this dude wants me to cry or something.
I was balling, man. I was balling.
I did that part already, in jail myself, just being there. Listen, like I told you, listen to my daughter on the phone, especially initially, because New York City, we have a boat that they could send you to when you get locked up prior to going to the Rikers Island. So I was on a boat, incarcerated. And yeah, it's like a big boat. It used to be a Fed boat. It's a big jails? It's a big boat. It might have closed it by now, but it was open when I was there because I was on it, and it would move. You would see people on jet skis in the summertime. I was mad, like, send me upstate. This is not good. But yeah, man, that was a messed up story. That Corey Wise thing was crazy. You can't force someone to admit something that they've been denying for 10 years or 8 years, like. But yeah.
You should watch the Oprah special. You're probably not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna make you watch this.
Nah, I'll watch it. If you want me to watch it, I'll watch it.
Okay. So the one who dad had to the dad made him admit to the crime. Do you remember that one? The guy with the scar on his face from The Wire?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the real dude, they had an Oprah special where they had the real Central Park 5 just talk about the movie or whatever. And the actors was sitting there, right, dog? I'm gonna tell you this, bro. And Oprah, you know how Oprah, she always digging deep, no matter if it's serious or not serious. And she was talking to him particularly, and she asked him pretty much like, how has prison, affected you? Are you still going through it? And he just was like, yeah. And he was like, and she asked him, he's like, have you ever amended that with your father? And he was like, no. He was like, I hate my father. He said, I hate my father because he put me in prison. And everybody, like the kids were crying. The actors of the show are crying for the people they're playing in real life on a show.
But that's the one thing I didn't understand about that. You see how the mother came and took one of the guys out, right? The guy that he brought his friend with him. Yusuf, right? So that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, she went in there, didn't let him sign the statement, and pulled him out of there. How did he go to jail? I didn't get that. Like, how did he end up going to jail if he was the only one that was pulled out? Because if they all would have did that, none of them would have went to jail.
I think it has something to do with the tapes. The tapes were the worst part.
The tapes,
and I think Yusuf,
okay.
And Yusuf, bad. Yeah, the tapes were terrible, bro. Mm-hmm. You could just see them watching. They're like, I'm going to prison. They had so many moments in there, so sad. Like kids coming to recollection, they have to logically think like, yeah, this ain't, we ain't gonna win this.
It was some good acting though. I can tell you that.
Very good acting. Yeah, they won like an actor. The dude that played Corey won an Oscar.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he won an Oscar for that role.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. I know it was good. I'm happy you liked it. I'm happy you watched the whole 4
parts. I'm happy I didn't cry.
but man, that goes to show how powerful you are, how powerful this podcast is going to be when people watch it, man, because you are doing the damn thing, man. I got nothing but love for you, Rahmel, man. Like,
Thank you
are, again, man, like, I'm proud of you. And I know your wife sounds like your wife sounds amazing.
Yeah,
she sounds like don't let her go.
She definitely put the fire under me. Even everything I'm doing now, the clothing line, pandemic had me a little lazy at one point. The fact that my transportation service was like on the down and out because of the restrictions. Damn. She came to me and she's like, "You're not being yourself. Like, you're a hustler. You being lazy right now." And I got upset because we don't want to hear that sometimes. But then you sit back and think about it, and you like,
"Damn, she right.
You're right. I hate it, but you're right. You're absolutely right." And then the next day, Dolphin Dope. I'm promoting everything. I'm getting everything done. Stuff is getting shipped in, so I needed that.
So let's talk about Dolphin Dope. So what's the inspiration? Where's it from? What?
Okay.
Is it English? What is it?
Okay. Well, Dolphin Dope. This is it in Creole.
Okay.
In Creole. I chose Creole because
you good, bro. That's fire.
I chose Creole because it took me about 6 months to come up with the name for the clothing line. Dolphin Dope in English. Exactly how you hear it is how you spell it, Dolphin Dope. That's the corporation. Now I came up with the foreign spelling because when you look at these other clothing lines, an example, Milano de Rogue. Nobody even knew what that meant, and they were wearing it. So I'm looking at it like, you want to. No, it's okay.
My wife is texting me. What'd you say?
I said Milano de Rogue.
What was the name? Yeah, there you go.
Milano de robe. Nobody knew what that meant, right? And people were still wearing it like it said guess or like it said polo. So I took that concept and I just added it to my own thing. I'm just I put it in Spanish. I put it in Russian. Dolphin dope. I put it in Spanish, Russian, French, everything you could think of. Creole was the best role. Like it sounded the best. And then I played off the D's and I made the small logo right here.
Oh, fire.
So the D's play off each other and it just sounds good.
It does. It looks good too, man.
Everything else was too long. Like in Spanish, it was like 4 words. Russian, it was like 5 words. I'm like, yo, people are not going to want to pronounce this. And then I just put Creole because I grew up in a Haitian community. All my friends are Haitian. This is like little Haiti out here. So I put it in Creole, and it just came back, and I said, okay, this is it. But let me explain the dolphin dope part. The dolphin dope is when you think of dolphins, I'm asking you, what do you think? What do you think when you hear, okay, dolphins, what do you think of?
Either Tony no, that's the 70s. Never mind. I don't even watch football no more.
So when you think of dolphins, smart, positive, happy, you don't think nothing negative.
No.
We don't hear about dolphins killing people. You know what I'm saying? They're not out here fighting people when they go on vacation, they playing in the water. Right. And then you take the word dope. The word dope is just, oh, that's fire, or that's nice, that's hot. It's all positive. So I just put them together.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's it.
And it's hip hop too. It's hip hop.
It's hip hop. It could be skateboarder. It could be tennis. It could be basketball. It could be rapper. It could be polo. It could be cricket. It could be whatever. Whatever you want it to be. I feel like anybody will wear it, and that's what I'm wearing. I ain't buying no more Nike suits.
What do you want people to get from this podcast, Mr. Harris?
Just more so that not giving up. Everybody goes through something in life. Adversity is a teacher.
Right.
You can learn from every negative that you go through. And then also, there are people in worse positions than you. There's people that's never come home from prison. There's people that have life. There's people that die in prison. There's people that die in the street. There's people that, their moms are fiends. Thank God my mom's is not, your situation can always be worse. You could be homeless. You could be dirty. You could be ugly. You could be all these things, but it's about how you come out of it. It's what you take from it. It's the lessons you learn. I learned a lot of lessons. Within the last year, I learned a lot of lessons. Every year I'm learning something, every day. So just be better. Don't complain. Be humble. That's it.
And that's the simplicity. I got my brother, Mr. Harris, Rahmel Harris, man. I hope it was a fruitful conversation, man.
Yes.
I hope I hit the nail, man. I hope I didn't waste no time with you, man.
No, not at all.
Everything, man.
Thank
Real
you.
talk, man. This is why I wanted to have this conversation, because it was, man, like, I'm super proud of you. Like I said, man, we got Mel Shuttle, we got Dolphin Dope. Where can they find you, and what you got coming up?
You can find me on Mel Shuttle LLC on Instagram.
Okay.
Dolphin Dope on Instagram. Mel Shuttle. I'll be open back for visits in New York once they approve it.
That'll be soon.
Yeah, that'll be real soon. Hopefully, maybe March, maybe April. That's what I'm hearing. Dolphin Dope. It'll be available. I want to say as soon as within the next 2 weeks. I'll be open for sales. Yes, that'd be great. That'd be great.
I'm trying to purchase. Can I do that now? Actually, how much are you selling? Or
I don't
pay
have
for it now. I don't know, like a pre-order.
I don't have any merch. I don't have any pre-orders set up yet because everything is on back order due to the virus right now and the holiday for China.
Yeah, you did tell me
But
that.
I do have face masks that will be going on the website within the next, I want to say
Okay.
48 to 72 hours.
All right, bet. Okay,
Yes.
bet. So I got you a nice little face mask. All right, then,
Yes,
brother, man. Well,
yes,
I
yes.
appreciate you, man.
No, thank
Thank
you,
you
man.
for the podcast, of course, brother, man. And then peace out. Don't hang up.
Peace out, bro.
This is for the people. Yeah.